Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is JP the Outlaw, here to give you my Monday Night Raw review for March 21st, 2018. They start off the show with Kurt Angle. Stephanie McMahon makes her return, and Roman Reigns. Of course, Kurt Angle makes his announcement for the two marquee matches tonight, plus a contract signing. Out comes Stephanie McMahon, who says she will be there to officiate the contract signing. Instantly, a red flag goes up because Stephanie McMahon does nothing to build the product. And what I mean by that, she undermines her talent, current women's talent. She makes them look unequivalent, unuseful, more or less just there. Like, when Stephanie McMahon is cutting a promo, and sometimes it comes off as an instigator. You know what I mean? It's like she's just instigating a problem versus officiating the problem. Like, I think this segment would have been done better if Kurt Angle would have been the one officiating the contract signing. But we'll go over that when we get there. There's so much wrong with this one episode. We will go over that, though. Roman Reigns comes out talking trash to Stephanie McMahon about how, they've kept him away from the title, from the Universal title. They're trying to keep him away from Money in the Bank because they don't want their boy Brock Lesnar to lose the Universal Championship. Now, being the fact that Brock Lesnar beat Roman Reigns clean 4 times in a row, 2 times, I think it's maybe even 3, but he's already beaten Roman Reigns clean. So the appeal of the statement is gone. Secondly, for anybody to think that the WWE is holding Roman Reigns down is foolish. In the past 3 months, in the past 3 weeks, let's say 3 weeks, Roman Reigns has gotten top booking. And what I mean by that, he's opened the show in some way, form, or capacity. So, out comes Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, who makes a challenge to Roman Reigns, of course, talking trash. Stephanie McMahon doesn't pick favorites. He goes to put his arm on Steph as if though he is one of her favorites. Hits her with a little bit of the wink, So, of course, she makes a match for later today, and that match will start right after this segment. Of course, that match starts. You got Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns putting on a decent contest on the one-on-one. Out comes Jinder Mahal with the double team from Kevin Owens and Jinder. Then comes Seth Rollins. This match just turned into a tag team match. This pretty much ate up that first hour, which isn't bad, especially when you have Seth Rollins in there to kind of take the pressure off of Roman Reigns to carry an hour-long match, especially when you only have 5 moves of doom. Before the tag team match kicked off, Kevin Owens was pretty much doing the bulk of the work. So, I like the ending here. Of course, Seth Rollins tries to hit the curve stomp. Kevin Owens moves out of the way, and then he jumps up, hits the curve stomp regardless. I love this ending. Perfectly timed. The guys look like they went over this match maybe more than once or twice. Moving on to our next in-ring segment. First of all, I like to start this segment off with what the fuck is Sami Zayn interviewing the supposed sisters of Bobby Lashley. Now, if nobody's seen this segment, these sisters were all men dressed up in drag. One, this does nothing for Bobby Lashley. Nothing at all. 2, you make Sami Zayn look like a goddamn idiot. 3, Sami Zayn did a great job of getting his shit off and also building up the segment. Okay, I can't take that away from Sami. I would have rather them done 3 women in a interview, maybe an interview package, sit down interview package with Sami Zayn, where Sami Zayn didn't have to go through all of that. They could have had a nice beatdown brawl between Sami Zayn and Bobby Lashley at the tail end of this segment. But the way this segment came off, you have 3 men dressed up in drag. They each get a chance to say their piece about Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley himself comes out, and his immediate fucking response is just smiling. It's like, oh, Sami, you did such a great job here. I like what you're doing. It's funny. blah, blah, blah. I'm not offended by this. First of all, if I have 3 sisters and, you compare my 3 sisters to men, I'm coming out knocking your head off. And that's just, this is my family. I just had a whole fucking segment about how much I love my family. And then, not only that, after he smiles ridiculously, the crowd doesn't know how to react to it. If you look back at this segment and listen to the crowd, there's no fan reaction. And therefore, since there's no fan reaction, why the hell are you doing the segment? It makes no sense. Sami Zayn looks worse. Bobby Lashley looks worse after this segment. Please fix this. Please make it better. Pretty much downhill from there, Ember Moon wins an okay match against Alexa Bliss, which we'll talk about later. Backstage segment with Stephanie McMahon, Finn Balor, and Braun Strowman. Kurt Angle had gave Stephanie McMahon his office for the night. She puts up a picture of Mr. McMahon, and there's a fruit basket there. So Braun Strowman grabs an apple at the start of the segment. And Stephanie McMahon makes a match between Braun and Finn Balor, saying that, Finn Balor, he's a nice guy, nice handsome smile, blah, blah, blah. One thing I would like to comment on, Finn Balor only wears his rainbow shirt when he's around Stephanie McMahon. I don't think anybody else notices that but me. Yeah, he has multiple colored gear, but it's that rainbow shirt. As soon as she comes around, put it on. You put that damn shirt on. And you go out there and be a leader for the PGG, whatever community. You know what I'm talking about. So, from that segment, Braun Strowman takes that very same apple after the match is announced and literally crushes it with his bare hands. I think the only thing he had to do was not say anything because that was a good segment. I really like the way they're building Braun, of course, and Finn Balor off of this segment in this match looks great. Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. Baron Corbin versus No Way Jose. Please stop making these two fight each other. I would rather see Baron Corbin versus a babyface Bobby Roode just to get them some type of switch up, some type of change. And this is why I say the mid-card, the lower mid-card, needs some type of title because you got a bunch of guys fighting each other that really have no reason to be fighting each other. Backstage segment with Kurt Angle, Chad Gable, Dolph Ziggler, and Drew McIntyre. Of course, Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler comes up talking trash. Kurt Angle and Chad Gable are having a conversation. Chad Gable was looking for Kurt Angle in his office. Kurt Angle says he gave his office to Stephanie McMahon for the night. Kurt Angle goes on to say that I would have loved to have you inside that match, that qualifying match that I had to put Jinder Mahal in, but we'll get you some action tonight. In walks Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre states the claim that this guy is just another one of the soft guys that stay in the back and don't do anything. So Chad Gable steps up to the challenge of Dolph Ziggler. Little side note here, fucking Drew Galloway looks like a bona fide superstar off of this segment. Just his mannerisms, the way he carries himself. Drew Galloway should be in some type of title hunt, some type of title contention. If you don't do any more than put him up against Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy, and let these two guys, Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre, take the title off of Bray and Matt. That's pretty much all I have to say for that right now. The B team back in action against Fandango. Fandango has new shirts. And, of course, the B team picks up the win. I really like the angle, but I'm not really convinced on the B team. You got to give me a little bit more, WWE, before I say, you know what? I'm with the B team. Everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. I can't. Not when you have the Revival. You have Authors of Pain. You have freaking Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. It seems as though you're putting focus on the B team just for laughs and giggles when the tag team division can be taken seriously, especially with all the talent that they have. But that's my opinion. So, moving on. Contract signing. Stephanie McMahon literally kills this whole segment. Kills this whole segment with the way she carries herself and the way that the segment came off, I'm thinking, you know what, Ronda Rousey's going to go in here, be a humble challenger to the humble champion, which is Nia Jax, who's issued the challenge to her. So, if anything, this segment should have panned out. Of course, Stephanie McMahon tried to instigate a problem, but both women should have turned on Stephanie McMahon and told her to stay out of their business. And that would have built a better segment leading into Money in the Bank. That would have built a better build for Money in the Bank. Right now in this segment, you have Stephanie McMahon pretty much playing devil's advocate, whispering in the ear of Nia Jax, why did it take so long to beat Alexa Bliss? She's little. It takes only 5 minutes. Look how big you are. And on the other side, Ronda Rousey, the undefeated women, or the undefeated woman, and until a point where she lost and couldn't handle it, the undefeated woman of the UFC. She's a fucking monster. She's a beast. She's hyping this shit up, right? So I'm thinking, okay, eventually somebody's going to stop her. So Nia Jax stops her. And she then takes what Stephanie has given her and immediately verbally attacks Ronda Rousey. Ronda, I am tired of this lazy stuff. Stephanie McMahon called her lazy for not being able to beat Alexa Bliss in under 5 minutes. And, I'm tired of this lazy stuff. I'm going to beat you and make a name for myself as the women's champion. Ronda Rousey responds with, moving the table out the way and telling everybody that I want you to come at me. But, she's guaranteeing that she's going to break her arm at Money in the Bank. Again, hate this segment only because Stephanie McMahon was there. Like I said, if Kurt Angle was in place of Stephanie McMahon, the segment probably would have came off better. Without that antagonist attitude from Stephanie McMahon, you wouldn't have a horrible segment. And that's the only thing that made this segment bad. Both women are horrible promos. Both women still need work inside the ring. But when you add the just assholeness of Stephanie McMahon, and that's the best way I could put it, it comes off completely ridiculous. That's just my opinion of it. Dolph Ziggler versus Chad Gable. Great wrestling match here, you guys. I think Chad Gable with a couple more years. And again, I wouldn't mind seeing a Chad Gable on 205 Live completely dominating that division. But Dolph Ziggler impressed me here with a nice headbutt and a super kick to end the match and pick up the win. Drew Galloway comes out. Drew McIntyre. He comes out, hits Chad Gable with the Claymore, and these two guys walk out looking dominant. Again, I love what they're doing with Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre, both men being undefeated since debuting on Monday Night Raw. It's just a matter of time until they get the tag team championships, if you ask me. A four-way match to determine a spot for the women's Money in the Bank match. All these women in the match are like B-Buzz players, outside of Natalya, who is like at the tail end of the A-list. Natalya, of course, picks up the win here. She goes up against Dana Brooke, Liv Morgan, and Logan something, the other chick from the Riot Squad. So, somewhat decent match. I would have liked this match better if all these women were heavily featured on a Monday Night Raw program, but since they're not, it comes off like, oh, let's throw this match together and put Natalya over, and that's pretty much what it did. So Natalya got put over. She gets a quick interview with one of the backstage interviews. I can't remember her name. She gets an interview with her, stating on how she's going on to win Money in the Bank to go up against her close friend after she wins the women's championship. And I believe she's talking about Ronda Rousey. That may just be the case. Elias versus Bobby Roode. An okay match. I'm tired of seeing Bobby Roode versus Elias as well. Like I said before in the Baron Corbin versus No Way Jose, I would rather see these two teams flip-flop. And let me tell you why. Because No Way Jose's gimmick would go great against an Elias gimmick. Okay, both already healed. And again, same thing with Baron Corbin and Bobby Roode. I just think, a quick flip-flop of them two rivals, and this would be a better contest for all four men. For all four men. Of course, the main event, Finn Balor versus Braun Strowman. Match of the night. I give Finn Balor kudos for hanging in there with Braun. I like the psychology of the match. It just wasn't power slam, rushing elbow, and 1, 2, 3. No, Finn Balor really stood his own, and this is why I say they should try to push Finn Balor more into that heavyweight contender spot, which going up against Braun Strowman is kind of doing that for him. I mean, it's doing way better than him just, basically being in a tag team match every other week. So, definitely, I would like to see more of Finn Balor and definitely more of Braun Strowman. Actually, I want to see Braun calling out the beast incarnate Brock Lesnar. I think that'd be the best move for Braun. But that was your Monday Night Raw. I am JP the Outlaw. I will be getting out of here soon. Please check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, and the Wrestling Amino, where we're closely growing to 2,000 followers. We're building up on there. I'll get you guys the official numbers for the SmackDown review. Also, I will be giving out a little news extra this week. SmackDown has just been bought by Fox Network, and they'll be moving to 3 hours in 2019. We'll go over all that, plus an injured Randy Orton. So look out for that. It might, hit that subscribe button. It should pop up in your inbox. But I am the Outlaw. Peace and the grease. You guys enjoy your day.